Hey guys, this is a review of the PG Unicorn, and I've been wanting to do this review for quite some time as I don't really see much of reviews about the PG Unicorn on the web right now. So yeah, here goes. Okay, so I'll be covering first is what comes in the PG Unicorn. First of all, you got this bazooka. The bazooka. Oops, shit, sorry. Anyway, the bazooka extends. This part is a bit loose, as you can see. It comes out very easily, so maybe I'll cement it, some other day. And yeah, it extends like the MG version. And there's I don't know if you can see this, but there's actually clear green inside, which is actually a sticker. And the magazine, you can take it out very easily. You can put it back in. So alright, so what comes next is the Beam Magnum. And the Beam Magnum, it's a very big piece. It's very large, and it's quite similar to the MG Unicorn. There's a clear green here also, sticker. I mean a foil green, and you pull this out and take out the magazine. Yes, it's very loose. The magazine is detachable, of course. It's extremely loose, so be careful with that. Don't lose them. They come in 10, but there's another 5 behind the Unicorn right now, which I'll show later. And it's quite similar to the MG one too. And by the way, the Unicorn cannot hold this up. It's too heavy for it. When you attach it to his hand, it will just sink down. So yeah, it's kind of stupid, like can't even hold up the Beam Magnum, so it's kind of disappointing. So next up, we have the shield, the Unicorn shield. Shield is just quite ordinary, I guess. It's like the MG one. You just pull this out, alright, then you take out this X part over here, and there you have your fully formed shield. Then you have to pull this on a bit more. Yes, it's very big, of course, the shield. And last but not least, it's the Beam Gatling guns. So you have these parts that move, and this scope that moves around too. Same goes to the other one. And the thing that's cool about this Gatling gun is that it retracts and go back in. But the thing is, why do you need this mechanism? See, it's a bit weird, but I'll tell you why. Because it's supposed to line up this peg and this, so we line up together. Yeah, like this. So it's actually this place that secures it, and then you take out your beam shield, and then you just attach it onto the peg here. See, there's a hole over here and there's a peg over here. Then you just line them up. It's kind of hard to do on camera here. Right, you have to make sure that this scope is all the way down, and then alright, after much fidgeting, I finally got the Gatling guns onto this shield. And supposedly these 2 pegs over here, they're supposed to attach it onto this part of the Unicorn. See this hole over here? So it goes in nicely and very tightly, and as expected, it can't hold it up. And then after much fidgeting again, put it in, and yep, it can't hold it up. So I think this is my biggest complaint of the kit, is that it's a kit but it can't hold up its weapons. So what's the use of it? Another set of weapons that this Unicorn has, is the Beam Tonfas and its beam sabers at the back. And oops, see, it's quite loose, this part. Not sure you can see there. So just put it back in. It comes out very easily. I might cement that too. Yeah, I painted this a light grey because I don't really like the white on the beam sabers. And they give you very, very large beam effect parts for you to attach onto the beam saber handle, and they fit on the hands very well. And yes, the peg that holds this beam saber actually came off with the beam magnum when I put it on just now. And yes, this part is extremely loose, this peg that's supposed to go into the hand. So this peg attaches to the beam saber handle, and you attach it to the hands, and they hold it quite well, of course. And these beam sabers, of course, they detach. They're pretty much the same. So attach the beam back parts to the beam saber handles like this too. So yeah, you can do quite a few poses with the beam sabers. But I'm not gonna cover the transformation because I mean you've seen it a million times already. I mean there's nothing much I can really cover, except that the knees. A lot of people are complaining about MG knees, but these knees, I think they're very good actually. They come out very securely. Slide back in very securely, and then you can put it back very nicely. And then you should be able to hear a click sound when you push it back in, but I'm not gonna do it now. Then yeah, it's a click sound. Some of you want to see more about the kit that has been covered yet, so I'm gonna show you. Right, so this stand that comes with the Unicorn is a nice touch, but it does not move around much. It can only move up and down. There's a lever here that you can pull up, and then you pull it up and down. And to take it out of the stand, you need to actually take out the backpack, slide it up and take it out. For the backpack, I painted it in different color. The beam saber handles, I painted it with a royal light grey. I primed it first, of course, with some it's the Surfacer 1000, which works really well. I recommend that you prime it for the best results. Different parts of the backpack, different colors, namely a metallic grey, a light gunmetal, and gunmetal. And I quite like it, because I don't really like the blue on the Unicorn because it's kind of odd. It does not fit the white color scheme of the Unicorn much. But I might go about painting the whole Unicorn. So then to put it back in, slide it down, and here it goes. Some of you has been asking me, would this be able to bend forward or backwards? The answer is, you can bend sideways like this, go sideways, up and down a little bit. But then the thing is, if you want it to bend down completely, it's doable. Yeah, you can do 90 degrees if you want to. It's doable too. And then what's interesting about this, there's a mechanism which you can only access and use after you push this in. Unlocks itself, and then you can move the lower part of the body freely. This mechanism here, can you see it? The reason they did this is because they want a locking mechanism to make sure that the Unicorn can stay in place because of its heavy weight. You have to have some kind of locking mechanism to make sure it stays in place. The Unicorn, its articulation is impressive, of course. It can bend 180 degrees easily, and the mechanism in it's very cool. The arms, of course, they bend 180, or actually not 180, 160 maybe, quite easily, and yeah, you can touch each other's shoulder very easily. Oops, and one part fell off, which is its shoulder part. It's very flimsy, but it's easily attachable. It's back in. Concludes all about the kind of a slight over-review of the Unicorn. Now I'm gonna talk about the manual. Now, first thing I'll say is, please read the manual many times if you have to. If you read it 100 times, just read it 100 times, because the understanding of the instructions will enable you to save lots of time. And I tell you, by lots of time, I mean I wasted like over 10 hours pulling out the mistakes that I made and correcting them, which is kind of bad and time wasting. So first there's a cool art and some words in Japanese, and then with more art part count, parts, and then you can get replacement parts if you're in Japan. So too bad if you're not in Japan like me. First of all, they ask you to build the stand. You find out that there's this red outline over here. This red outline signifies that it's for the LED. If you're not building LEDs, you can skip the red parts. Now I didn't build the LED for one, so I can't really talk much about the LED building. But you know, from all the comments that I've seen and all the feedback I've seen on the internet, you know, it's kind of positive, I guess. Now the chairs, it's quite straightforward and smooth sailing until this PC and POM. Now POM, it's a hard plastic, while PC is more of a soft rubbery kind. And I have the examples over here. So this is the POM runner, which is light grey, and this PC runner, which is, you know, dark bluish grey kind. Now this POM runner, it's kind of hard, like I told you guys about, and this PC, it's rubbery. Now at first I actually have a bit of mistake, and I kind of have to pull them out, and it's very time consuming, and I hope that you guys don't make this mistake too. Another thing, it's the leg part, or I say the feet. Now there's this, you're supposed to actually put these parts in before actually pushing it down. There's this joint that you have to actually push down to secure it. Now I did not put these parts in, and then I have to pull this part out, because, you know, prior to putting these parts in, I actually push this in, and then you see there's a click sound you're supposed to hear. I click very loudly, and I'm, you know, satisfied as per usual. I found out that, you know, I didn't put these parts in. I have to take this out, and then it took me about like an hour to pull this out and actually put all these parts in and then push it back. Now this, it's probably the most time consuming thing and scariest thing, because this thing, it's secured so tightly that it's never gonna come out unless you use some force to it and take out some of the other parts, which are, you know, namely these parts. Other than that, you know, the build overall, it's quite solid and quite smooth sailing for me. Now there's some things that I want you to take note. Now you see a lot of these red outlines and LED, then you might tend to just keep flipping and until you see, oh, no more, you know, red outlines. But then you find out that you do some things over here. Like you see, you have to put these Q parts, which I missed out because, you know, I was too, you know, excited to get on with it and then actually build the next part, the unicorn. So please read every part, even though if it's highlighted in red, just read it and make sure that you do not miss out any parts, and actually find out that you have something missing later on. You have some spare parts lying around and you wonder where they go on to. Now another mistake I made, it's when building this back thruster part, and I'm supposed to attach it here, I actually snipped off this part. See this ball joint, I snip it off, and then I have to use cement and glue it back again. And I hope that when you count the runners, you'll be extremely careful too. Now then, yeah, I think that's it, you know. I think overall the kit, besides those mistakes that I mentioned, the kit is quite simple to build and relatively easy. You should have no problem going through it if you read the instructions carefully. And